your hands leaning on this hot hood of the police car. They know where you lived at. They know who you are. They would get me in front of my house, man. In front of my house. Go. This is why at a young age I couldn't stand the police, man. And I couldn't stand the police. I understand some of their philosophies now that I'm grown, but growing up in where I grew up, the police were not our friend at all. Never. Me and a sheriff had a real bad relationship, and he's the reason why the Eve After Dark got shut down, which made me move to Compton, because he didn't like the fact that I had money, brand new RX-7, and he was trying to get at one of my girls. Wouldn't make that happen, but he knew where I lived at. So he would follow me home at night, give me tickets for blocking his driveway. And it got so bad at one time that I almost lost my driver's license. And in fact, Eve After Dark was open till 5 o'clock in the morning most of the time. This cop made it his personal business to go to the county supervisors meeting and add DJ to the list of entertainment that could not be played after 2 o'clock. Because technically we were wrong. I know that. It said no jukebox, no live entertainment after 2 o'clock. They didn't say DJs. DJs weren't popular back then. So we rocked until 5, sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning. Then the cop realized that every time he came to our spot, it was like 2:30. So he went down to the county supervisors meeting, had them add DJ. He was so proud of himself. Oh my God, he was proud. Big cigar smoking, looking like Yosemite Sam type dude. Came into the club that night, cigar smoking, big fat ass stogie. Yes, you'll be shut down at 2 o'clock like everybody else from this point on. And he didn't want to give me a warning. He wanted to give me a ticket that night. And this is when I realized all cops are not bad people. We had filed a complaint against the sergeant, and the sergeant stopped writing me tickets. He started having his underlings write me tickets. He says, I'm not giving this guy the ticket, man. He don't do nothing. He says, either you give him a ticket or we're going to the captain. He said, let's go then. Come on, let's go. This guy doesn't do anything. You're constantly messing with him. And that was the first time a cop ever stood up for me. That's when I realized all cops weren't bad.
How often were the police going to your clubs?
Oh, every weekend. I mean, well, understand this. The owner of the building had a club downstairs. We had 2 clubs in the same facility. One was an adult club that had been around forever. And then we had the banquet hall upstairs that we utilized as Eve After Dark. And part of the deal was, because he had such a good, thriving business going downstairs, he didn't want that to interfere with his business. He didn't want upstairs to interfere with downstairs. So we said, I don't want no dope in my club. I don't want no dope in the spot, no fights, no nothing. So I hired an undercover security guard to patrol the bathroom. That's usually where all the dope transactions went down. All they were selling was PCP, and little weed, but that was too much. So when my boy would catch him, he'd handcuff him, call the police. So we doing this sometimes, maybe once, twice, 3 times a weekend. But I got the same cop every time because we were on his patrol, and he just like, dude, he called me out and says, "Hey man, you're beginning to be a nuisance." Why am I being a nuisance? I'm trying to keep the street drug free. I said, can I make a donation to the policeman's fund or something? He says, "Nah, but you can give me some of that pussy over there." One of my girls. Hold on, dude. Hold on. I said, no, that officer, that I ain't no pimp. I can't work like that. He says, you look like one. Now I always wore a suit. You look like a pimp. I'm like, no, that I'm do clubs, man. But thank you. From that point on, that motherfucker was on my ass. Excuse my French, folks. This is before Dre. They don't know these stories. Yella was the oldest member of World Class Wreckin Cru, but they were not day ones. They were not day ones at Eve After Dark. I had a whole nother crew before them. So a lot of the stories that I tell on these various podcasts, they know nothing about. By the time they got there, all the hard work had been done. We had all the fights, and we had most of all the good fights, established ourselves as not being punks. All they know is that I'm thinking about moving to Dudos, and I'm telling, hey man, the cops is giving me a hard time. And thank God, the distance between Eve After Dark and Dudos is only a block. Once you leave Avalon and go a block over, you in Compton. So when I get to Compton, it's a whole nother city, and it got the Compton PD. On the Compton PD, I have a first cousin on the Compton PD, and all his buddies had my back. It made a totally different relationship. Cops supported me. I hired a couple of cops to watch the door, and just the fact that I got cops on the premises, nobody messed with us, and it just changed everything. That's why when you see Straight Outta Compton, they talk about Dudos. Dudos was a much bigger facility, and we would bring big acts to Dudos. New Edition, Cameo. I mean, everybody. I would bring acts. LL Cool J was a part of the Dudos tour. So we had all kind of things going to Dudos that we couldn't do at Eve After Dark because Dudos was actually a auditorium. We had just every Friday. It was secured by the Compton PD.
How many clubs have you owned, Lonzo?
6.
6. Which one's your favorite club of all of them?
Oh man, everyone has a different attribute that made it really cool. Eve was my first one. That was my first and my last one. Doodles was much bigger, but it had so much potential. I was going to buy Doodles. I left there and went to a club. I had one called the Current Affair in Inglewood. That one was cool. I owned everything, liquor license, the whole building, everything. Well, I didn't buy the building. I leased the building. I should have bought the building, but I didn't. And then I had my favorite one, probably going to have to say the Hollywood Park Casino. I had the club in the Hollywood Park Casino for about 6 years, and that was like living in a hotel. It was on the 5th floor. It held 1,100 people. It overlooked the racetrack, Hollywood Park racetrack. My office was on the 6th floor, big glass back window, only had 3 walls. The back window was all glass. I could look over the racetrack. On the 4th of July, I take my kids to my office. We can watch fireworks all over the city. I didn't have any rent per se. I had a monthly bar guarantee of $20,000, which was easy for us because we had a mature crowd that loved to drink. And all I had to do was DJ and collect money. It was beautiful. The only thing about it, what I didn't like, is I had to go through, when I wanted to do something different, I had to go through a chain of command and put a proposal together. I had somebody over me that had to sign off anything I did. And that was but he was super cool. So we never had a problem. It's just that sometimes I couldn't maneuver as fast as I like to. But yeah, I think the casino probably was my favorite. I liked the Current Affair because it was mine. Doodles was big, and again, it was on my to-do list. But the old man died before I could get a chance to put my bid in. Like I said, Eve After Dark was always my favorite because it was my first, my first and my last club.
Yeah.
So much history.
Yeah. And was DJing your passion, or was the business side of it your passion?
DJing is my passion today, dude.
I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but let's just say that you only had 5 records to work with. What are you taking?
Man, I'm gonna grab for me, one of my parties, I'm probably gonna grab either Flashlight or Aqua Boogie. For my crowd, my older crowd, I know it's gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna grab Step in the Name of Love by R. Kelly. I'm gonna grab Lenny Williams for Cause I Love You. And probably Daz by Brick, because these are guaranteed dance records. Guaranteed when you're a professional house party DJ like myself. I specialized in house parties, and I do them today. Old school house parties. House party music is different from club music.
How much pre-work are you putting in before a show, getting the vision together and what you're going to do? Because I'm assuming you're not taking requests. You're running your show.
Only time I take requests is if I ever get into a situation where I'm stuck. Sometimes you misjudge the crowd. Sometimes some of the best can misjudge the crowd. I never forget this. I was playing this older club, and I'm playing these older records. And this older lady walked in. She must have been about 70. You got the Notorious B.I.G.? Huh? I'm like, what? But I forgot that record's 25 years old. So I'm saying, I ain't gonna say she was 70, say she was 60 something. She was 40 And she was rocking to that shit in the 90s, okay, when they hit the first time. So that record is still a part of her oldies collection. So once I upgraded my oldies, I upgraded all my oldies to Tupac and Biggie and Yin Yang Twins and Petey Pablo. The whole crowd changed. So sometimes that a request can help you redirect your playlist that day. So you have to be open to that. I mean, there's always records you're gonna play no matter what. But sometimes that one person give you, oh, okay, you like that? Oh shit, well, I got you, baby, no problem. Drop some DMX on them, and them same old ladies make you ashamed they was your grandmama.
As a DJ, do you prefer the bigger events, or do you like the more, closed in, intimate kind of events?
It doesn't bother me, man. I've done concerts that rock so hard they didn't want the band to come on. I'll never forget. It was like 2019. I'm playing at this park, St. Andrews Park in LA, and they were having some sound issues with the equipment for the band, and they asked me to extend my set. I just so happened to MC and DJ the set, and it took about 30 minutes for them to figure things out. 30 minutes, the band gonna be in trouble. So I'm gonna hit them so hard in that 30 minutes, they're gonna be up and partying and drink and do whatever they do. By the time the band came back on, they were like, let's sit down, forget the band. It's cool, too late now. We done got fired up. So I take DJing very competitive. I do my best to make it hard to come on the stage. World Class Wreckin Cru is the same thing. When it comes to showmanship and crowd appreciation, I take that very seriously. That's why as a group, World Class Wreckin Cru, we had to rehearse. We were the underdogs. When we first started playing shows with bands, you got 4 bands, which means you got 4 sets of drums, 4 sets of keyboards, 4 guitar amps. So by the time we opening up the act, we are literally dancing between the speakers. We're doing everybody standing between the speaker, Dre between the set of monitors, I'm between the set of monitors, Shakespeare between some monitors, and we're doing our thing the best we can. But as time progressed, our records got bigger and bigger, so we started getting more space. So to get more space, we had to have bigger and better shows. So as our records got bigger, and a couple of times we had some good space we lit that shit up. And after that, promoters been as the headliner.
You've been through 3 riots through Los Angeles, and on March 3rd, 1991, something that the whole world took notice to was of Rodney King. Can you tell us what that feeling was like leading up to the trial, and then once that decision was made, and what got everybody together and cracking out in the streets?
Being that I have lived through 3 riots. My first riot was the 65 riots when the cops, this older lady and her grandson wasn't going for that shit. I realized all 3 riots were caused by the police's overzealous activities. All 3 of them. All of them came from police action, and people like, I'm tired of this shit, okay? All of them. The first one, I got to say, I was a youngster, but I'll never forget about that riot is I lived down the hill, up the hill from my house was a grocery store, a department store / grocery store. And I remember seeing people carrying stereos, the big ass stereos. We talking about them big ass 6-foot grandmama stereos with the record player in the middle, speakers on the side. Just put your records in. Yeah, they was huffing them down the street. That's where we had them big ass tube TVs, and you got motherfuckers coming out with big ass tube TVs. I never forget more than anything was the National Guard coming through the neighborhood. They would come to the neighborhood in those big ass army trucks. And where I lived at, we lived on a hill. We had a basketball court in the driveway. We didn't have a fence, a gate. Because I was the oldest, I was always allowed, I was the only one allowed to go out in the street to get the ball when it rolled out in the street. And the ball rolled out in the street one time, and I found a bullet, big ass M16 bullet. And to me, that was the coolest shit in the world. I got a bullet. So I showed my brother, I showed my sister, and she ran in and told my mama, Eric got a bullet. My mom took the bullet from me, whooped my ass for not telling her in the first place. When the guys came back through again, and the National Guard came through again, my mama flagged him down. She flagged him down, and she cussed this 6'4" white boy out like it was like That's what you guys do now? Whoop, 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 whoop. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sitting there going, wow. My mom just cussed out a dude with an M16 strapped around his shoulder, okay? Y'all gonna kill kids? These big ass bullets? 1992. I remember I had just left the tire shop. I bought 2 tires from my van. I went to my cousin's house and riot was jumping off. They was just whooping Reginald Denny's ass in the middle of Normandy and Florence. And I said, damn, I could have got these tires for free. I might have waited. But I never participated in riots. My daddy, he didn't believe in that kind of shit, and I followed his footsteps. But my brother, he wasn't listening to my dad. My brother was one of the few guys that I know that had a relationship with Bloods and the Crips. I mean, he literally was a Blood and a Crip. And he came back one day. He said, man, Blood's over there getting at the 7-Eleven, and they was all outside. They had robbed, they looted the 7-Eleven, got all the good stuff, the cigarettes, the beer, everything was gone. All they had was condiments left. So they in the parking lot exchanging mustard and dressing and relish and shit. And he said, it was really a good time, man. The Crips had the bread and the Bloods had the ketchup, and we was changing. God damn. Okay. It just made for an interesting situation. But what I noticed about most of the people, and what I noticed about the news more than anything, the news were actually, I don't know, was it purposely or inadvertently, telling people where to go. We're on the corner of Vermont and Slauson right now, and people are looting the grocery store or looting the furniture store. There's not a cop in sight anywhere. I'm first like, what are you doing? Yes, we're on the corner of Central and Rosecrans. Right now, there's not a cop in sight anywhere. So I'm like, damn, are these stupid? Or are they just telling people where to go in some kind of code? We're here at the Slauson Swap Meet, and the police are preoccupied over on Crenshaw and over here, and there's no one here to protect the swap meet whatsoever. And this went on for a while until they went to Beverly Hills. Till they went to Beverly Hills. Oh, that shit changed, okay? Oh, that shit changed. Okay?
Reporting from an undisclosed location.
Yeah. All right, oh, that shit changed. But I tell you what was crazy for me, I had a van and the gas gauge didn't work. It stopped working. I had to go buy some gas. I ran out of gas. So I kept a little small gas can in my truck. I ran out of gas, and I had about a quarter-mile walk to get to the gas station. I walked to the gas station to get some gas, and they wouldn't sell me no gas. Oh, no, you burned me down. You burned me down. No, man, I'm trying to get home. You burned me down. No. And so I had to give another guy money. He was pumping gas, so I had to give him some money. Man, could you please, here's $5. That's what $5 was, with some gas. Here's $5. Could you let me pump $5 in my tank right quick? My can, so I can get my truck started. He won't sell me no gas. Also, I remember, because I live right near Gardena, California, and so many of the stores in LA had gotten burned down or looted that the Gardena police was like posted around the main thoroughfares into Gardena. Like, no, this shit ain't happening over here. All the burn, because they had attitude. You burned down your shit, you ain't coming, not burning down ours. And that's something that never made sense to me. Why is it you gonna burn down our shit that you patronize every day? That's like me pissing you off and you going in your garage and burning your car up. Are you tearing up your room because I pissed you off? Why? How did that make sense to anybody but nobody? But that's just me. I think a little different. So a lot of the businesses never came back. But what I can tell you happened when I watched the evolution before the 65 riots. A lot of Jewish businesses were in LA, right front. Remember, my insurance man was a Jewish guy. My mom used to always make me go to the store and pay him his money. His name was Sid Rosenthal. After the 65 riots, they were all gone. Then a lot of black people bought the businesses. Okay, a lot of liquor stores, laundromats, everything in the hood was black. During the crack era, a lot of those people left the businesses, and then the Koreans came in and started buying those stores. And during the 92 situation, those stores got fortified. You would go down the street and see Korean store owners on the roofs with shotguns and rifles. That was standard practice, and it just got crazy. But and then the 2000 riots, that was kind of a national thing. That was the first time I've seen it nationally like that. Although there have been situations like that before, but that was the first time I saw multiple cities going up at the same time, and it just made for a different impact because it makes you realize that what you think is local is actually a national, maybe even a global problem.
Yeah, it even impacted up here. Like
Yeah.
we had marches in the streets up here in Canada. Every city had them in support. Yep.
And I think COVID played a big part of that too, man, because COVID took all the eyes off because remember they suspended the basketball season. They were playing in these silos or whatever.
In the bubbles.
In the bubble, right? Thank you. The bubble. In the bubbles. It should have been happening right during basketball playoffs, which has a lot of attention. We didn't have that attention. So all we had to focus on at that time was George Floyd and the police situation. And to see somebody sit there and just execute somebody on the streets like that, dude, that's hard to take, man. I mean, there's no justification for that.
And people could say whatever they want about George Floyd's past or anything like that. The man's a human being, and that's happening right in the street, people watching. That leaves an impact.
I never understood how his past became a factor.
Exactly.
When you shot this kid in the back, or you put his knee on his neck, or whatever you did to this person, did you see a sign say I don't pay child support, or I'm a felon, okay, or that I take drugs, or that I like smoking weed, or I had bad grades in the 3rd grade? You don't see this stuff, but what happens is the media tends to take all those factors and somehow or another make this big gumbo of bullshit to make it seem like this is a justifiable situation. Oh, this guy, he had 7 kids and went to jail and paid child support, didn't pay his child support. Well, okay, what they got to do him getting killed? Hey, that's not a death penalty situation. So what's the difference? Why is that even a factor? But that's how they do it. Or if a cop gets something happen to a cop, he was a outstanding officer, blah blah blah, boo boo boo, and he, well, you didn't pull up his personal record and showed how many harassment cases he had been filed against him. You don't show that stuff. So it's just amazing how the media always find a way to spin things that this never just let people think for themselves.
Exactly. That's exactly what they do. They almost have a hidden agenda, and they're pushing a narrative with these types of reports and how they say things very specifically to make people have a different outlook on something, when really you should just be focusing on what just happened. A man just died.
Right.
But then there's also with like the way the system works with getting clicks and views, they'll pick a subject apart. They'll try and find everything that they can get someone to click on because that's that hot topic, and they're just going to make money off of it. I think the system adds to the problem.
The way the game is structured now, sensationalism is the new currency. The more eyes you can get, and I think sometimes the truth takes a back seat to reality because people feel like they need sensationalism to make things work or make things seem more appealing. And life is not that exciting. It's not that exciting, but you have to make. That's why you got movies. You go to movies for sensationalism and bullshit. You watch what's that not Grand Theft
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. You let them jump out of cars and the spaceships and shit like that, okay?
Lonzo, it's been awesome. I wish we could actually talk for another couple hours here. I got so many more questions, but let's wrap this up. Before we leave, we always ask our guests to give a positive message to any of the youth coming up, seeing this, something that maybe you learned over your years, something that you'd like to relay that message to. What would you have to say to them?
I got a few things I'd like to say to people, man. One, find what you love, do it for a living, and you'll never work harder a day in your life. 6 clubs, records, DJing. I'll be 66 years old next week, man. And I still feel like I'm 24, 25 because I've been doing what I love doing. I own a newspaper now. So I still love what I'm doing. Don't be afraid to lead, follow, or just get out of the way. Lead, follow, get out of the way. And people make life so much difficult. If you say the words, somebody oughta, why shouldn't it ought to be you? Why can't it be you? I used to do that all the time. Somebody oughta. Well, shit, I'm giving somebody else's orders or recommendations. I can do myself. So please don't be afraid to lead, follow, or get out of the way. And what I mean by get out of the way, don't be a hater because you see somebody trying to do something. And a lot of times those haters can be so persuasive. You can knock a true leader off his goal. You can just sit on the sideline hating, but you're not in the trenches seeing what's going on. So it's like football on Monday night. Oh man, so-and-so should have ran to the left and pivoted. You don't have 11 people looking to take your goddamn head off with the clock running, and you got all this pressure. You up in the audience, you're not looking at this 300-pound dude come to take your head off. Anyway, folks, you can find me on my social media, Real Lonzo N.W.A. My YouTube channel is N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. And my other one is Legendary Connects with me and Dr. Dre from UMTV Raps. If you want to connect to me on a personal tip, all you got to do is dial this number and send me a text, 424-363-8141. Put in the message, put Lonzo, and we'll connect. One more time, 424-363-8141. Put the word Lonzo in the message box, and we'll be connected.
We'll add that number on the screen as well.
All right. Much love. I appreciate it.
One last thing. Your hat, Compton Entertainment Chamber. Tell us about that. There's an app. I got it downloaded. Tell us about that.
Oh, man. Thank you, Doc. After I left the club business in 2019, I started doing a lot of speaking in schools. And one of the things we saw was after the Super Bowl, when Dre and Snoop did that tribute to Compton, the Compton history is not being utilized to its fullest potential. And I decided to form the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce to show some love for the people of Compton. In fact, one of our things we have on the agenda coming up shortly is to rename a street after Eazy. The preliminary paperwork has already been done, waiting to go to the agenda of the city council. And hopefully by his birthday, we'll be able to name a street after Eazy. It will be called Eazy Street.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's what the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce is about. Also, we just launched a newspaper, Hub City Reporter, and we also launched a television channel called the Compton Entertainment Channel, along with the Compton Entertainment app. If you have the app, whatever's going on in the Compton, if people send me flyers all the time, we send out push notifications for what's going on in the city of Compton. So wherever you are, if you want to download the app, but also download our channel, Compton Entertainment Channel, on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, and also Android.
Nice. We'll put the links to that in this video as well, so people can just click that, hit that, because I got the app downloaded. I didn't know about the channel, so I'm definitely going to be hitting that up. Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Lonzo, thanks a lot for stopping by, man.
Got it, folks. Much love. Thank you, man. Anytime.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Broken Home Podcast, everybody. Take care.